Hey listeners, it's me Audrina Lane again, here to read the next chapter from my debut novel, Where Did Your Heart Go? And gosh, we're up to chapter 67 now. I never thought I'd see the day when I'm only got that much book left to read. So without further ado, let's get on with the next chapter and find out what happens next. At last some sunshine greeted me as my alarm went off just after 6. Keeping my fingers crossed that this was a sign of the impending weekend weather, I jumped in the shower. Once again I walked down to the river and saw John and a couple of electricians. They all seemed on top of it, so I left them to it. I paused and walked to the prospect to get a better view, and snapped a picture on my phone, ready to share with the guys at the station later. I also sent it to James. Here it is, the event of the century. His reply was, "Morning, you early riser. It looks great. I can't wait." I smiled at the early riser mention and blushed as I thought about the many times I'd woken to his. The more I thought about the good times, the brighter they seemed, and the bad times seemed to be fading. I knew I would never forget that moment. How could I, with scars I could still see? Saturday was going to be our moment because I was going to agree to try again. Back in the kitchen at home, Paul announced that my secret admirer was up very early this morning with his request for "Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now" by Starship. Instantly I was transported to the evening we'd watched Mannequin. I closed my eyes even though I knew that Charlie and Mitch had stopped eating their breakfast and were watching me as I mouthed the lyrics in time with the music. Grabbing my phone, I typed in my reply, knowing it couldn't be anything other than the song that Paul started to play in reply. Leaning against the workshop, I closed my eyes again as emotions overtook me. I could feel tears of joy and relief starting to sparkle in the corners of my eyes at the wonderful combination of George Michael and Aretha Franklin as they sang, "I Knew You Were Waiting." Perhaps deep down I had known that somehow, by keeping my memories and heart locked up all this time, that this moment of a release would appear. Like a knight in shining armour galloping towards me, thundering hooves as my heart drummed. I had waited for so long. I experienced a moment of sheer release from all the darkness, hurt, anger and tears of my past. As the song came to an end, I wanted to hear it over and over again, as I felt arms wrap themselves around me. Forearms as I opened my eyes to see my daughter, and behind her Mitchell hugging me tight. Tears of happiness were reflected back at me from the glistening green eyes of my wonderful daughter Charlie. We pulled apart and Mitchell passed me a nearby box of tissues as I watched him wipe the tears from Charlie's cheeks. There was no need for me to say anything, so instead I just smiled at both of them. Driving to work, I still heard the song playing on a continuous loop all the way in and then throughout the day. The whole office and studio were strung up on nerves as I just floated around. After my show, I went out to do some shopping before walking to the pub to meet Jack, Paul, Mark and Ian for our final discussions before the big day. When I walked in, I saw Jack and Paul already deep in conversation. I grabbed a drink at the bar and went over as we waited for Mark and Ian to arrive. "Hi guys," I beamed, sitting down next to Jack. "Hi Steph, you're looking radiant today," Jack said, kissing my cheek. "Yes, and you've just been weird all day," Paul said, grinning at me. "Can't you please tell us why?" "All will be revealed tomorrow," I said, feeling very smug. "I'm sure Steph knows who her mystery man is, as the requests this week have been odd for people who don't know each other," Paul said. "Have they?" Jack asked. "Sorry I've been busy and missed them except for the two this morning." As Paul went to the bar to get some drinks, Ian and Mark joined him there. Jack leaned over and whispered, "Is it James?" "Yes it is, but don't tell them," I replied. We were going to be broadcasting from the site for the whole day, so we split it up into different 2-hour sessions. As I lived in Ross, I would start in the morning and then do another couple of hours later in the afternoon. "So, should we do the blind date thing before your daughter's last dance, which is before Rick?" Paul asked. "That's fine with me," I said. "You don't seem very nervous about meeting your mystery man," Ian said. "There's too much to worry about for the rest of the day before that one moment. I'll be fine. In fact, I'm looking forward to it." Standing up, I reached for my bag. Well, I'm off home for a final sight and sound check before I get an early night. Checking my phone before I set off, I saw a message from Charlie. We're practising on the dance floor and they're using our music to check the sound system. It's brilliant. I'm coming home now, so I'll call bye, I texted back. As I neared the car park, I saw the pub was already busy with people enjoying the late afternoon sunshine. I walked along the path and I could hear the music floating through the air. A few people were walking along the path and many had stopped to take in the spectacle of the stage. I saw Sarah and Chris walking in the same direction and hurried over to meet them. Charlie dropped us a text to say we were practising, so we decided to come down, she said. I'm feeling really nervous now with it literally only being hours away when things get started, I replied. We paused to watch the girls start their new dance to Troublemaker, and I saw Mitch lounging on the grass, his eyes firmly rooted on a single dancer. Hi Stephanie, Sarah, Chris, Mitchell said, standing up. Hi Mitch, how are things going? I asked. I wish the guys were here so we could have a full rehearsal, he said. Will we get a chance to have an early one tomorrow morning if they can make it down for 8? Yes, I'll be broadcasting from our bus over there. I pointed just to the side of the stage at our large studio on the move. Great, I'll let them all know, and Dad of course, he said. When the music died, Charlie raced over to all of us and flopped down on the grass next to Mitch. Is it the case, she asked. Yes, but you need to extend more when you prepare for the splits, Mitch calmly mentioned. He pulled her close and planted a kiss on her forehead. From an audience point of view, it was excellent, Chris said. I'm not as technical as Mitchell, but I know what I like. Anyone want a drink? Sarah asked. Everyone nodded as Mitch pulled Charlie back up and said, Shall we have another go? Yes, she agreed, and they handed a disc to the sound man and took to the dance floor. I watched as Mitchell danced alone to suit and tie before Charlie crossed from the far edge of the flooring, swaying her hips before reaching for an imaginary tie. My phone started to ring, so I walked a little further away. Hi James, how are you? Fine, Steph. I've just been trying to get hold of Mitchell, but he's not answering. He's busy on the dance floor at the moment. OK, just tell him now that I will have the lads over for 8 in the morning. Do I come straight to the river? Yes, there'll be plenty of people around and I'll be broadcasting until 10 in the large bus. OK, I'll bring coffee and a bacon sandwich. Sounds great. I'll tell security to let you in. You have security? He asked in amazement. Well, tomorrow I do. After all, I have a blind date to meet who could be a deranged psychopath or axe-murderer, I giggled. You never know. He might just turn out to be your hero, James said. Hanging up, I saw Sarah carrying a large glass of wine. I really need that, I said, taking it from her. Who was on the phone? Oh, just James trying to leave Mitchell a message. Anything else I should know about? I've made up my mind to say yes, I said. You're going to start dating again? She seemed ecstatic, pulling me carefully into a hug as we avoided spilling our wine. Does Charlotte and Mitchell know? She asked. I think they may have guessed this morning. I had a rather emotional epiphany in the kitchen as Paul played I Knew You Were Waiting for Me by George and Aretha. Does James know? I think the songs I've been playing for him this week may have hinted at the fact, I replied. I'm so excited, Mum. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight, Charlie said, joining us and jumping for joy. I'd better get you drunk then, Mitch joked, reaching over to squeeze her hand. Otherwise, perhaps we'd better stay here and dance all night instead. Maybe, she said. A blush tinted her cheeks with a rosy glow. As it was a nice evening, we sat outside the pub and ordered some food and more drinks. When Charlotte and Mitchell told me they were going to walk home, I suggested, You should go through the churchyard to the prospect. The view of the setup looks fantastic from there. Sounds good, Mum, Charlie agreed. We'll see you in a little while. Linking hands, they walked further along the river and then up into the town. So there we go. We've only got 68, 69 and 70 left to go, and it's going to be a real good one at the end, so that's all I'm going to say. If you want to read ahead, then don't forget you can buy the book on Amazon. It's only 99p or 99 cents, depending on where you are in the world, and I would say For the size of the book you get on Kindle, it's a pretty good price. In fact, you'll have change to buy yourself a coffee. Anyway, obviously if you want a paperback, you can also get those from Amazon, or if you did want a signed one, especially dedicated to you, then I'm more than happy to do that as well. Just drop me an email. You can find me through my website, which is www.audrinalane.co.uk, and I'd be more than happy to sort out a price for a copy and sending it over to you. Anyway, take care, keep warm now it's winter if you're in the UK, or if you're elsewhere then can you send us some sunshine and some nice weather, and I'll see you again next time. So take care, bye for now.